Hey everyone, this is Rob from Revelation Rain, coming at you with yet another video. It's been a while, I know. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but I wanted to get another video out. We're going through each of the tracks of our first album, our debut record, Vengeance is Mine. And today we're going to talk about a song called Can't Forgive What I Can't Forget. But before I jump into that, I just want to point out this footage that's going on behind me. We can try to get a little bit closer so you can see. This is the first show that we ever played at Aiden's place, I believe. Either the first or second time that we played there. As you can see, our lighting and stage presence and whatever is a little bit more limited than what it would eventually become, but this was a great show. Like I said, it's either the first or second time that we played there, and if it's the first time, then we'd only been a band for about 3 weeks. And if it's the second time, then maybe a couple of months. But I think we're getting ready to do a song called I Want You, which is on our debut CD. But it's kind of cool to look back at this early footage. We were a young band, brand new, but man, we had the goods. And you could see the potential for what it would eventually become. So anyway, the song, Can't Forgive What I Can't Forget, lyrically, you can look at it from a couple of different perspectives. You could look at it as being a spiteful person, where you're not going to forgive others because they've hurt you, and, so long as you can recall that incident, you're not letting it go. That's not what the song is about, but that's one perspective. Another is that you cannot forgive yourself for the things that you've done. And that's really the perspective that I was writing from. I've talked about before I got saved, I was a pretty bad person. I was drinking a lot, and I did a lot of stuff I shouldn't have done, etc. And that's, whoa, look at me walking up on me. That's, wow. I remember in this part, right here, I had so much sweat running down my face that I walked up to this table where we had some friends sitting, and I was trying to grab some napkins to wipe the sweat out of my eyes. It was so bad. It was burning my eyes. And the guy sitting there, he's one of our friends, thought I was trying to steal his drink. So he's kind of like freaking out. And then somebody else at the table thought I was trying to take his money. And I'm like, why would I try to take somebody's money? Especially right in front of them. But anyway, just kind of a funny thing. Anyway, back to the song. The song is writing about, not being able to forgive yourself for some of the things that you've done. And like I said, prior to getting saved, I wasn't a very good person. And when I did get saved, it was hard. The hardest person to forgive sometimes is ourselves. And I was finding it very, very difficult, very hard to forgive myself for some of the things that I had done. But I remember reading in the Bible where it says that, we are commanded to forgive others, even as God has forgiven us. And I said, well, if I'm to forgive others, then I'm assuming that must apply to myself as well. And sure enough, it is. We're to forgive ourselves. If Christ died on the cross for us, and he did, for the forgiveness of our sins, then out of respect for that sacrifice, we need to forgive ourselves. And that's really what the song is about. Now, you could also look at it from the point of somebody else saying it to you, that, they're having a hard time with the things that they've done. But the song was written about that perspective of I found it very, very hard, especially when I first got saved, to forgive myself for a lot of the things that I had done. I can't forgive what I can't forget. And obviously, it's rare that you forget, some of the things that you've done. And so long as you can recall them and call them to mind, they can haunt you. And sometimes it can be hard to forget those things or forgive those things, but we need to. So that's what the song is about lyrically. It's just taking into consideration that Jesus died for my sins. And when I trusted on his blood, I got saved and my sins were washed clean. by the atoning blood of Christ. Therefore, in God's mind, in his eyes, those sins no longer exist. It says in the Bible, he will remember them no more. So it's not as easy for us to remember them no more, but we can certainly forgive, just like God did. Okay, I got to pause for a second. This is Tears on the Wall. And this guy here, he's a bigger guy, but I tell you, he was busting it out all night, man. He's a big, literally and figuratively, a big fan of ours. And he would come to just about all of our shows there at Aiden's place. That's where this is at, Aiden's place in Sand Lake. And you can see he's having a good time, man. And so we were kind of playing up to him, and he's out there just having a great time. There was a lot of people there. It's just that most of the people are seated behind the camera. You can see people walking back and forth on the camera. But this is Tears on the Wall, and he was really digging this song. That's the best part about playing live, is that interaction between band and, people attending. All right, anyway, so lyrically, that's what Can't Forgive What I Can't Forget is all about. And once I came to that realization, and I was able to forgive myself, but I tell you, it was like a burden was lifted off my shoulders. And I highly recommend that everyone, do that. You need to forgive yourself. If you're sincerely sorry, if you've sincerely tried to make amends, and especially if you're a saved Christian, you need to be forgiving, not only of others, which we should forgive others, just as God has forgiven us, but we need to forgive ourselves too. And move on, okay? Learn from your mistakes. Musically, I wanted to write something in the vein of what I would consider to be like a Metallica type tune. Now, I'm not saying that it sounds like Metallica. I'm not saying that I was trying to rip them off or anything like that. But a lot of times when I'm writing songs, I like to challenge myself. And I don't ever want to be known for just writing only one kind of song. So a lot of times, you'll draw from your various influences. And I remember Paul Stanley saying that, he wanted to write a song just, to diversify. He wanted to write a song that he figured, Rod Stewart would write. And so he came up with Hard Luck Woman. And then, he was a big fan of Free, so he wanted to write in that style. And so Hotter Than Hell was born of that. And then, so you're drawing from your influences and you're paying homage more than anything. And so, I always, I was never a real big Metallica fan, but the one thing I always liked about their songs is they have some of the coolest riffs. Wherever I May Roam is one that pops into my head right away. I love the riff through that song. And so I kind of wanted to have something like that. And sure enough, that's what Can't Forgive What I Can't Forget has. It starts off with that riff, and then it kind of goes all the way through the song. And that's what I was going for, was a Metallica type feel. Whether I accomplished it or not is up to each individual. Excuse me, but that's what I was drawing from. And it's one of our heavier songs, and I like the song. It's a really good song. Here, I think I'm doing an instructional video, so I'm going to turn this. We can't let you know our secrets. I'm just kidding. But instructional videos, those are intended for people when they would audition for the band. In fact, that might have even been one of the instructional videos that I would pass on to JT and Margie when they were learning the songs to audition for the band. So, kind of neat. All right, we're going to go with this here. This is another performance at Aiden's place, and this is us doing Bloody Thumbs. We haven't talked about that song yet, but it will be coming up. But yeah, this is a different performance, a little bit better stage production, better camera work. Yeah, you could see the growth in this band just from watching the shows at Aiden's place. All right, so anyway, drawing from the Metallica type influence or whatever, that's where the music came from for Can't Forgive What I Can't Forget. So as far as the placement on the album, again, this song would be side 2, track 1, and you need that kind of a song to start off, the second side of the album. It's a heavier song. It's a little more in your face and it's upbeat. And it's similar to New Kind of Man or anything that would start off the front side of the album. Um, it's been played whenever we've had extended set lists. Can't Forgive, What I Can't Forget will 80% of the time end up in the set list. If we have an abbreviated set list, then no, it doesn't show up. So sometimes you hear it in our live set and sometimes you don't, but I still like the song either way. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I brought the song in completely finished. I don't think we made any changes to it. But again, it was just one of those things where I wanted to reach out, maybe step outside of my usual wheelhouse of songwriting. And I do that sometimes. I'll say, well, what if I wrote a song similar to what, I don't know, Stryper would do? Or what if I wrote something more in the line of what Quiet Riot would do? Like I said before, most of my songs, because my biggest musical influence as far as bands go, would be Kiss. Okay? So I think that, especially Paul Stanley in particular, a lot of my songs, they derive from that influence. But I try to step outside of that, for variety, for diversity, so it doesn't become stale. And plus, it's just a challenge for me. Write a song like this group, or write a song that would sound like whatever. Again, not to mimic or copy or to rip off anyone, but just to diversify it, to try a new style, try something new. So that's what Can't Forgive, What I Can't Forget is. It's my attempt, like if someone wanted me to write a song, along the lines of Metallica, well, that's probably about the best I could do. So that's that. Lyrically, like I said, it's close to my heart because it's that transition from not being saved to being saved, to no longer from being a raging alcoholic to not drinking anymore, to being in a state as an early Christian where it was just, I was burdened by my own past. And I finally had to get to the point where I could forgive myself. I had to get to that point. If I couldn't forgive myself, then I couldn't grow. I couldn't become a better Christian. There's a lot that would be limited. So I encourage everyone, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Jesus has forgiven you. So you can find it, in your heart to forgive yourself. I think this is that same event at Eden's Place. I think right here we're doing Tears on the Wall again. But you can see by this time we had obtained our laser light, which is really cool. You can see it up there, the green that's kind of flashing around right there. It looks really cool when you add a little bit of fog to it. It just has a really cool effect. But you can see we were going even from the previous time that we were at Eden's Place. Excuse me. So anyway, that's the story behind Can't Forgive, What I Can't Forget. Still one of my favorite songs for the lyrical content and because it steps outside my usual wheelhouse. I like the riff. I think the band nailed the song. It's exactly how I envisioned it. Everybody stepped up. I mean, it's a band with great musicians, so you can't go wrong. All right, guys. Until the next video, and by the way, yes, I will continue this series till we get to the end of this debut album, but I've got some other things in store for you guys that are going to be a little more exciting, and in fact, it's going to be very exciting. I'm really, really excited myself about what's coming up next. It's going to take a little work, a little more time, but once it's ready and it goes up, I think you'll enjoy it. All right, guys, take care, and God bless.